Hello everybody. I wanted to address something that some people have showed concern about. I'm not going to dismiss this as unimportant. And for those people who show concern, that's a good thing, and that shows you're probably not a neckbeard. Because neckbeards generally don't care about what other people think. So the question really is laughing at and telling stories about neckbeards fat shaming or cruel? Or is it just making fun of their appearance? Well, before we answer that question, we need to first ask this one question. What is a neckbeard? That's important to answer. Why do we laugh at that subject and what makes it cringy? Is it what they wear? What interests they have? What they do? Or is it a combination that makes a neckbeard? Well, that's what I want to discuss. Ultimately, it's what I think is a neckbeard is what I read as a story. So I'm going to share with you what I think is relevant as a neckbeard to me. So what do I think a neckbeard is? Well, I think there are key ingredients to what makes a neckbeard. Much like you need a specific number of things to make an automobile. Let's use that as an example. An automobile, by definition, is a road vehicle that typically has 4 wheels, powered by an internal combustion engine or an electric motor, and able to carry a small number of people. That kind of excludes a motorcycle. We're just talking about pretty much like a car. So, for it to be an automobile, it must meet these requirements. Now, not all objects with 4 wheels are automobiles. Like wagons, 4-wheelers, because they aren't road vehicles per se. They're not supposed to be. And not all things that carry passengers are automobiles, like trains, planes, carriages. Not all things with engines are automobiles, like lawnmowers, pressure washers, generators. You have to have all of the right combination to make an automobile. That being said, I think the key component is the attitude, or the actions, and that really sets the stage as to what a neckbeard is. Usually that involves social ineptitude. They are generally sociopaths, and they can't look beyond their own feelings or wants. They generally can't see anybody else's ideas. They can't read social cues as to when they make people uncomfortable, or they just don't care. They generally think they're always right, or they're entitled to what or who they want. And if you disagree, you're an idiot, you're narrow-minded, you're shallow, or so forth. Pretty much like saying, oh, it's because I'm fat. Stuff like that. They feel like they know exactly how it works, or how it should work, and that their opinions are facts, and anyone else's is stupid and not right. That is a key component. So without the attitude, you can't be a neckbeard. You can have all the other components, but if you don't have the neckbeard attitude, you can't be a neckbeard. Although it takes much more than this to be a neckbeard. Now you have the lesser descriptors that are involved. Not all of them have to be here, but some are required for a true neckbeard. Like a motor, without all the other components, it cannot be an automobile. Being overweight. Yes, that's a stereotype, but it isn't necessary. There are plenty of neckbeards that are skinny. Heck, I knew a neckbeard that was in great shape, but he was a true neckbeard. Poor hygiene, such as clothing that's not clean, unshaven, dirty or uncombed hair, terrible body odor. This isn't important either, it's not even necessary. But it does go hand in hand with the neckbeard's attitude, because their appearance and smell is invisible to the one who only thinks about themselves. They think you have no right to judge anything about what they do or say. They are the gods of their own universe, and you can't judge a god, right? That goes right into the next. Fantasy worlds, anime, role-playing, and video games. This is important. For the most part, neckbeards are corrupted nerds. It's like the Death Knight of the nerd world, whereas the cool nerds are the paladins. Cool nerds can like all the same things of a neckbeard, but they're not neckbeards because they don't have the essential behavior and self-importance of a neckbeard. Fantasy worlds are important to neckbeards because they live in their own already. They think they are gods themselves. Most of them cannot take rejection in any form. If you don't like them, it isn't because they're an arrogant jerk who doesn't care about your feelings. It's because they're fat and unattractive. Now in reality, looks do kind of matter. Now there are things that we can't change, and losing weight is really hard for some people. But that isn't the part that I'm thinking about when it comes to looks. I know some people have a real hard time with their weight, and I'm one of them. And there's other factors that involve your looks. How you dress, how you groom, how you smell, all that stuff has to do with your looks. Some of those are easier to do for some than others. Looks do kind of matter. There's a reason why I say that. When you look at somebody, you can usually tell a little bit about them. Like for one, It tells you if the person has some self-respect. Do they take care of themselves? If they can't take care of themselves, how are they going to take care of me or somebody else? That's a valid question. If you care about how you smell like to others, that means you're thinking about other people. That's something you also need to consider. Now there's other gray areas too, like some people don't like goth, some people don't like anime or sci-fi. I don't understand those people, but hey, people have their own interest, and they have a right to that. And some people don't find those things attractive. So if you're dressing in a way that shows that you like those things, that person might not be attracted to that. That part of your personality isn't something that's drawing them to you. And they have a right that when they see you, whether to pursue a relationship with you. Everybody has a right to choose what friends they want. Even if it's shallow or not, it's their decision. And we have to allow them to have that decision. And when it comes to friend zone, I think it's a great thing. You shouldn't be sexually attracted to all of your friends. I mean, seriously, that would be kind of weird. And if you are attracted to somebody, it's not always going to be mutual, and that should be respected. Like I said, everyone has the right to choose. So, in conclusion, you cannot be a true neckbeard without being some kind of a cringy jerk, more than likely to either the opposite sex or both. But if you're a cringy jerk, it doesn't necessarily make you a neckbeard. You have to have some other qualities or traits to be a neckbeard. One final note is that if you hit all of the other traits except for being a cringy jerk, you're not a neckbeard. That cringe is essential. For that reason, I will always include the physical description when it comes to a neckbeard, because it adds to the authenticity. Am I fat shaming? Am I making fun of how they look? No, I'm not. I am neckbeard shaming, because I'm a nerd and I don't like the traits of neckbeards. I try my best not to do that kind of stuff. And if you think it's bad that I also talk about their physical appearance, along with their attitude, I'm not reading stuff on a creepy channel. I'm not doing stuff like Mr. Nightmare. He talks about creeps and jerks all the time. Now they do some cringy stuff, but they're still not neckbeards. So I think all of this is essential. And if you don't like this and you have a problem with this, you're probably a beard sympathizer, and you shouldn't be torturing yourself here. I mean, I think it's really sweet, but I think it's only sentimental. It has nothing to do with being loving, because what we're finding humor in is a stupid attitude and cringy behavior that they have. I do not have a series about non-cringy, overweight people who likes nerdy stuff, because I would be on that list. And a large majority of the population would be on that list. I'm talking about the cringy jerks who try to weed into the nerds territory and not be cool. I'm not saying that I'm a cool nerd. I might just be a nerd, but I'm not a neckbeard, and I'm proud of it. Sometimes I might act like a neckbeard. Everybody does. And if I ever do neckbeard things, I'll put it on here. I'll read about it. My wife wants to write up a neckbeard thing. I'll let her do it. I'll read about it. I'll let you laugh at me. Heck, I was thinking, since I have a lot of interest that neckbeards have, I was thinking about dressing up like one and taking a picture and putting it online. I think that would be funny. A lot of the pictures I have of people, I don't know who they are. I'm just taking pictures of the stereotypes. You don't know who those people are. They're probably just really cool nerds. More than likely, a lot of those people are probably not neckbeards. They just look like the typical neckbeard, and that's what we're talking about. But the stereotypes alone do not make a neckbeard. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and to all the neckbeards out there, may the cringe be with you, always.